So let's talk about James Cameron's underwater epic sci-fi flick, The Abyss. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name's Doyle, better known to you as the Big D, and this time around I bring to you a review of the 1989 sci-fi flick, The Abyss, released by Fox, written and directed by James Cameron, starring Ed Harris, Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, and Michael Biehn. The film focuses on on what happened when an American submarine sinks in the Caribbean. A U.S. search and recovery team works with an oil platform crew racing against Soviet vessels to recover the boat. And deep in the ocean, they encounter something unexpected. This became a big success in '89, where it won an Academy Award for Best Visual Effects. So let's begin our story. In January 1994, the U.S. Ohio-class submarine USS Montana has an encounter with an unidentified submerged object and sinks near the Cayman Trough. With Soviet ships moving in to try to salvage the sub and a hurricane moving over the area, the U.S. government sends a SEAL team to Deep Core, a privately owned experimental underwater drilling platform near the Cayman Trough, to use as a base of operations. The platform's designer, Dr. Lindsay Brigman, insists on going with the SEAL team, despite her estranged husband, Virgil Bud Brigman, being the current foreman. During initial investigation, of the Montana, a power cut in the team's submersibles leads to Lindsay seeing a strange light circling the sub, which she later calls a non-terrestrial intelligence, or NTI for short. Lieutenant Hiram Coffey, the SEAL team leader, is ordered to accelerate their mission and takes one of the mini-subs without Deep Core's permission to recover a Trident missile warhead from the Montana just as the storm hits above. Leaving the crew unable to disconnect from their surface support ship in time, the cable crane is torn from the ship and falls into the trench, dragging the Deep Core to the edge before it stops. The rig is partially flooded, killing several crew members and damaging its power systems. The crew wait out the storm so they can restore communications and be rescued. As they struggle against the cold, they find the NTIs have formed an animated column of water that is exploring the rig. Though they treat it with curiosity, Coffee is agitated and cuts it in half by closing a pressure bulkhead on it, causing it to retreat. Realizing that Coffee is suffering paranoia from high-pressure nervous syndrome, the crew spies on him through a remote-operated vehicle, finding him in another SEAL arming the warhead to attack the NTIs. To try and stop him, Bud fights Coffee, but he escapes in a mini-sub, Coffee does, with the primed warhead. Bud and Lindsay give chase in the other sub, damaging both. Coffee is able to launch the warhead into the trench, but his sub drifts over the edge, crushing him when it implodes. Bud's mini-sub opts to enter deep hypothermia when the ocean's cold water engulfs her. Bud swims back to the platform with her body. There, he and the crew administer CPR and revive her. Alright, now for the ending. You know the procedure as always. 5 seconds to stop. Go to the description box below and fast forward to the time below. Okay, now if you've seen the movie already, please continue on after the 5 seconds are over with. Thank you, and here we go right about now. Okay, you've been warned. It is decided that the warhead needs to be disarmed, which is more than 2 miles below them. One SEAL, Ensign Monk, helps Bud use an experimental diving suit equipped with a liquid breathing apparatus to survive to that depth, though he will only be able to communicate through a keypad on the suit. Bud begins his dive, assisted by Lindsay's voice to keep him coherent. against the effects of the mounting pressure and reaches the warhead. Monk guides him in successfully disarming it. With little oxygen left in the system, Bud explains he knew it was a one-way trip and tells Lindsay he loves her. As he waits for death, an NTI approaches Bud, takes his hand, and guides him to an alien sea deep in the trench. Inside the sea, the NTIs create an atmospheric pocket for Bud, allowing him to breathe normally. The NTIs then play back Bud's message to his wife, and they look at each other with understanding. On Deep Core, the crew is waiting for rescue when they see a message from Bud that he has met some friends and wants them to hold on. The base shakes, and lights from the trench bring the arrival of the alien ship. It rises to the ocean surface with Deep Core and several of the surface ships run aground on its hull. The crew of Deep Core exit the platform. Surprised they are not suffering from decompression sickness, they see Bud walking out of the alien ship and Lindsay races to hug him. Now, that is the end of the story, but there's a special extended version, and the events in the film are played against a backdrop of conflict between the U.S. and the Soviet Union with the potential for all-out war. The sinking of the Montana additionally fuels the aggression. There is more conflict between Bud and Lindsay in regard to their former relationship. The primary addition is the ending. When Bud is taken to the alien ship, they start by showing him images of war and aggression from news sources around the globe. The aliens then create massive mega tsunamis that threaten the world's coast but stop them short before they hit. Bud asks why they spared the humans, and they show Bud his message to Lindsay. Therefore, end of story. So what did I think of The Abyss? Well, although I've only seen it one time until more recently last month when I watched it on Amazon Prime, I gotta tell you, this film is definitely a good one. I mean, since this is James Cameron we're talking about here, this of course, well, this would be his next big movie, just 5 years after he did The Terminator and before he even did the second movie, and this was still before Titanic and way before Avatar. Anyway, I absolutely do love this film now after watching it, and I gotta give it credit. Yep, it has been released on numerous formats and what have you. But anyway, but I also did like the cast. Ed Harris as Bud, Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, who I actually knew her best from playing Tony Montana's sister in Scarface, and then after that she played Maid Marian in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, which is due to be reviewed later in the month. Is very good as Dr. Lindsay Brigman, and Michael Biehn as Coffee. We also have Leo Burmester as Catfish DeVries, and Todd Graff as Alan Hippie Carnes, plus several others. John Bedford Lloyd, J.C. Quinn, Kimberly Scott, Pierce Oliver, Kid Brewer Jr., and lots of others. Anyway, the film did pretty darn well for Fox, and it did pretty well, as the film went on to make $89 million worldwide. So it's almost 90 million, though. But anyway, now I don't seem to remember an extended special edition, but still, if it still exists, then I might look into it someday. But also, another good thing about this is the effects, and also the score done by Alan Silvestri, best known for doing, well, music for several other good movies. And I seem to recall he has done some, like Romancing the Stone, Back to the Future, well, actually, the complete trilogy, as a matter of fact, and Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Predator, and Flight of the Navigator, which, of course, I'll also be reviewing soon, later in the month. Oh, yeah, and then the Delta Force as well. But he do lots of other movie scores, so anyway, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I gotta admit, his scores are pretty good. and especially for this one. So anyway, with all that said, a good cast, and the story's really good. So with that's out of the way. Good score by Alan Silvestri, good effects, etc., etc., etc. Would I recommend The Abyss? Hell yeah! This is one flick you need to see. I mean, you won't be disappointed. The Abyss is definitely a good flick. I mean, after this came out, it came out in August of '89, but there were some other films that kind of in a way, ripped this off that same year, which those included Leviathan, which that was kind of like that, but with a little bit of Alien mixed in, and another one being the Sean Cunningham directed flick, Deep Star 6, which I have yet to see that. I've seen Leviathan, though, but I haven't seen Deep Star 6 yet. I know those two films kind of got dissed and what have you, but hey, I'm an understanding person, certainly. But anyway, you gotta give The Abyss a shot if you haven't. But if you've seen The Abyss, please tell me what you thought about in the comments section below. If you like this video, click the like button below, subscribe to my channel, and be a part of the Big D Nation. And next time, I will be bringing you the next episode of the Wide World of Game shows with Family Feud. And also, I forgot to bring this up in my schedules. You probably won't get that many spoiler-free reviews, but very soon you will get spoiler-free reviews of the new Cinderella with Camila Cabello, which that's also coming up, as well as a review of Marvel Studios' Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Both of those are coming up this weekend. So anyway, thank you for watching, and if you like this, you may want to consider checking out my reviews for these other two James Cameron movies that I've already talked about. In the upper left-hand corner is my review of The Terminator. The upper right-hand corner is my review of Terminator 2 Judgment Day, or go to the bottom left-hand corner and you can see my schedule announcement for this month in case you might miss it, or if you want to see it again, or along with my pickups. And the bottom right hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.